Herber's infamous True Story Tuesdays. My name is Frederick Rousseau. I am Con's semi-adopted black swan child. I've known Con for the better half of my life. Met him one fateful day about 22 odd years ago, riding in the Berg, and yeah, haven't looked back. I couldn't get rid of him. So Con Malherbe is, I think if everyone is here, you know what he's like. Passionate to the T, caring, loving. And tonight we're going to hear a little bit more about his journey and his story. We're going to start with a new endeavor of his. As you know, Con is quite, what's the word? Diverse. It's a lovely way to put it. He likes trying many different things, and he'd like a little something to share of this new project of his. So, yeah, let me just bang it on. Will that one work? Don't need to click play.
Good. Good morning to you all. We're here at Clarence Primary School in the quaint little Free State town of Clarence. We're heading off to Sterkfontein. It's going to be a spectacular day. And today I'm going to be telling you a little bit about my story and my journey onto the e-bike and how that came about. Riding, we're sailing. Back in 2020, I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, incurable bone marrow cancer, and Dr. Google was telling me I probably had about 5 years to live with a maximum of 9 years. By sheer miracle, early detection, but they said that a stem cell transplant was inevitable. I went on to a hectic healthy diet, and I literally lost 10 kgs. So I had that life-saving stem cell transplant in May of 2023. I had a doctor's certificate, and all my macho cycling mates gave me their blessing to get an e-bike. That's where my journey on the e-bike started. Actually, this is what I had to go through to discover the joy of an e-bike, and I could do what I love doing without killing my heart and putting strain on my system and giving this evil disease a chance to come back. So yeah, thanks. Now you know my story, a little bit more about me and why I'm the content creator. Thanks for joining me today. Cheers.
Yeah, so everyone, that is a new endeavor of Con, and as you can see, cycling has played a significant part of Con's life, everything he's done. I see a lot of his cycling friends are here today. And I think next up is his next challenge. So you've seen that Con recently did, which one was it? What? Yeah, once to Wales now, the one in the Berg. And I think his next challenge is going to be taking on the Cape Epic next year. And so his partner, Jared, is going to come and join him now and have a chat with Con about what he's going to be doing.
Hello.
Hello, Jared.
How's it?
Yeah, well,
It's
good
quite
evening,
unusual.
everybody, and thank you for coming out. I'm pleased to see there's a good audience here. I'm mightily relieved. Thank you.
Yeah, how's the wrist doing?
Hey, let's not talk about the wrist. But, it's just another challenge, and we're going to suck it up. And even if I have to sit in an indoor bike for the next 8 weeks, we are getting to the start line of our next challenge.
Yeah, awesome. So, to begin with, I think we all know that there was a bit of a leak because the news that Con's doing the Epic is out.
Yeah, that's thanks to over-enthusiastic witness team of witness journalists that they couldn't wait to get the story out. And there it is. So you all know why we're here for the next big challenge. And then for his sins, Jared has been roped in as my partner for the Epic. I don't know how he feels about that. Jared, how do you feel about that?
No, I'm super excited. I think it's going to be a challenge, but I think we're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, let me just add that we've both got our health challenges, and this whole lot, this Cape Epic thing came about while we were doing Go-to-Berg. So I've had this hobby of filming off my e-bike, but it wasn't gaining much traction because I couldn't edit. And so I decided to co-opt Jared. Jared happens to be a passionate cyclist and one of the country's foremost movie makers. And he came, I got an invite to Go-to-Berg, and I said to him, well, how about coming along and editing for me? And he said, yeah. And then this whole CANSA for Cape Epic thing, I was negotiating during that, and I got the go-ahead to ride the Cape Epic for CANSA, one of the Cape Epic's official charities. And so I invited Jared to join me. I couldn't think of a better person. Jared himself, it was a massive eye-opener during Go-to-Berg because he is a type 1 diabetic. And at least my disease has been treated, and like, heaven forbid, touch wood, I run free of it for now. I'm good. And but Jared, being a type 1 diabetic, is a full-time thing. He never has a day off, and it was a real eye-opener. So for two of us to go into ABSA Cape Epic, it is going to be a challenge, and it's going to be a real honor to ride with him. And as you'll see just now, his work that he's created for me has just put me on a whole nother level. And the intro video he's done for the Cape Epic is world class. So thank you, Jared.
Yeah, awesome. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a real journey, I think. For those who don't have context, can you just take us back to the beginning when you sort of first got into cycling? How did you get into it?
Oh, wow. It's going back to the 1980s, I think. I was
So before mountain bikes.
Hey?
Before mountain bikes.
Before mountain bikes. How did I get into mountain bikes?
No, in the 1980s, there weren't mountain bikes, were there?
Oh, no. Yeah, no, I see what you mean. So I had this dream of becoming a professional motocrosser, and that had kind of come to an end. And I had a real job at the Maritzburg Country Club, and I was looking for something else, and somebody said, oh, how about mountain biking? And that was right back in the beginning in the 80s, and it just progressed from there. Where it grew, the 90s, it sort of come into fame. I had a young family, and it was the logical thing sport to do as a family, and yeah, it just grew from there.
Awesome. I think it's maybe a good opportunity to just say thanks to Ceffeeberry for hosting us. I believe you have quite a good relationship with the owners.
At Ceffeeberry, yeah, not too bad. I had to pull a few strings to get them to host us, yeah. But luckily they opened their doors to us, so here we are.
Awesome. Can you just tell us about Ceffeeberry's relationship with cycling through the years? I mean, you guys have been quite involved in the community from the early days. Just talk us through a bit of that.
Yeah, so obviously with a young family, I mean, Ceffeeberry's going 20 years, so I had young kids when it started, and it kind of evolved. I was looking for a reason to run my cycling expenses through the business, and I've got a very strict accountant, and she wasn't listening to me and wasn't having it, but then I formed a Ceffeeberry mountain bike team. So we had all our kit and branded and gazebos and whatever. In my wisdom, I decided to get a Ceffeeberry mobile rig and take our coffee rig with us to the races, have our team and the mobile coffee thing. Hey, and I tell you, that was quite stressful, trying to run a team and having a mobile coffee rig and the whole lot. But that ran for some time, and the Ceffeeberry team was very successful. And then it kind of, the mobile rig, there was better things to do, and I gave up on that, and the kind of team went for about 4 years, and then it ran its ground, and then I've just continued ever since, and I've also just keep claiming my cycling expenses through the business.
Awesome. So we've got a video we would like to show you, but just before that, I think it's a cool opportunity to acknowledge we've kind of come full circle. I think When I first met Con, it was about 2013, and I was studying video technology, and I had made a mountain biking film, and I went to Con and asked if I could screen my film there, and you said yes, and that's kind of where we first met, right?
Yeah, this humble kid comes to me sort of cap in hand, and he said, I'm Jared Hine, and I'm doing this video technology course at DUT. He said, what? What even is video technology? You know, this video technology, that was nothing in 2013. It's a relatively new career. And so I said, well, I've done this thesis for my final qualification, and on Greg Minon, could I screen it at Ceffeeberry? And I said, oh yeah, sure, no, you can. And he screened it. So in my mind, I had this cool kid, and he had done this cool video on cycling, and he had studied video technology at DUT, and that was cool. But still in my mind, it was like a tradesman kind of thing. And for my youngest son, I had in mind that he was a few years behind Jared, and he was going to be the next big academic lawyer, accountant, or whatever. 2 years later, I get a call from him, Brad, and he says to me, Dad, I said, yes. He says, Dad, I want to do video technology. I said, what? You've got to be kidding me. Video technology, Brad, what about you? You're a bright kid, man. You're top academic, lawyer, doctor, accountant. Come on. But the whole time in the back of my mind, I had Jared Hine, cool kid. He went to DUT. It's not so bad, you know. And then he says, but I was still shutting him down. And then he says to me, Dad, but I'll tell you what. I found out from DUT. Oh, he's looking at DUT, the same place that this cool kid went to. And DUT said that if I get top of my class at the end of the first year, I get a full bursary. So I was sold. I said, you go for it. And, you know, needless to say, he qualified 3 years down the line. And like Jared, I don't think they'll ever work a day for a boss in their lives, but these kids work jolly, jolly hard. You'll see just now the type of footage they produce, and it's just an honor actually to work with Jared, and an honor to see how my son Brad's career has blossomed in the industry. And for any people with young kids out there, I don't see too many young kids here, but yeah, video technology has really come of age, and what an accurate call by these kids back there to have the vision to do this. So, yeah, well done, Jared.
Thanks. Okay, so this is the plan for the rest of the evening. We've got a profile on Con that we've made a short film about him with the help of Quinn, who's here in front. You can give him a hand.
Give him a big hand. Stand up, Quinn. This gentleman is a legend as well.
So we'd love to show that to you all. Then we're going to hear from someone from CANSA, who we've received our entry for the Cape Epic from CANSA, and we'll be riding to raise funds for them. We'd love to hear from Lisa just now, and then we'll do a short Q&A with everybody in the room, so you can prepare your questions, etc. But for now, let's hit play on the video.
Please fire those questions in, because we're going to ask you guys for a lot of money. The bicycle is definitely my favorite form of recreation. I think another form of medicine in a way. Obviously, life is life. You have challenges. And I've always found getting on my bike is like a freedom. I spend hours and hours on my bike just riding through this beautiful scenery. I think my biggest achievement is I won the SA Champs as a master. I was just 50. It was the year the Masters World Champs came to South Africa, to Cascades actually. And then in 2022, I won the Grand Masters SA Marathon Mountain Bike Champs, held here at Karkloof. And that was probably my most notable achievement. In 2019, I was having lower back problems and so on, and we went to the neurosurgeon, and he just said to me, there's nothing that a good bio can't sort out here, but there's just something I see here, and I don't know what he saw to this day. There's just something I see, and I want you to go for some further blood tests. Those words, you've got cancer, are quite horrifying. Obviously, panic went through the family. Multiple myeloma, I'd never heard of it in my life. Then I got onto Dr. Google, and Dr. Google's like telling me, well, you got probably maybe 5 years to live, best case scenario 9 years. Myeloma is an evil disease that doesn't present any symptoms whatsoever until it's too late. By God's grace, this discovery was made was in the very early stages. We could monitor it in the bloods before it attacked my bones, and that went on in the smoldering stages for 2 years. And then in the November of 2022, my readings just started going over, and they then started to prepare me for this life-changing stem cell transplant. They harvest your stem cells, and you can see your healthy stem cells being pulled out. They now have your healthy cells, so they just absolutely flatten all the cells remaining in your body with a high-dose chemo. Well, by that night in the shower, my hair was just coming out in clumps. It's like a big thing when they reinfuse those cells. When they walked in on the Wednesday morning, I think 4 in the morning, the medical team walked in there, and they all just like erupt in a happy birthday, and they're just saying, wow, this is your second chance at life. You know, people were very keen to know my story, so I formed a WhatsApp broadcast list. And then I'll never forget, I just put out the first thing after my transplant, and the messages that came back from there, I just burst out into tears.
Yeah, sure. A bit of an emotional thing, this, but sure, it's been a long journey, but we'll nail it. And wow, I'm going to keep myself towards myself. Thanks so much for all the support. The latest news, this is taking some getting used to. Every time I look in the mirror, I go, whoops, I get a bit of a fright. I'll be in isolation for, they reckon, 10 days at least, while they watch and see that those white blood cells go up. So thanks for listening. Thanks for all the love and support. Really appreciate it. Cheers and have a great weekend.
5 years down the line, here I am, living my best life. I mean, I never in my wildest dreams thought I'd be in this position. It's people like myself that can tell a success story because of the medication available to us today, but that needs money to research, and that's where CANSA comes in, and that's what they're collecting funds for, and that's what we're going to put ourselves on the line for, to ride the ABSA Cape Epic. I have no illusions about how tough it's going to be, and I think, sure, in those toughest times, it's going to be the people that have been lost to this evil disease. That's going to motivate me to get over the finish line when the going gets really tough. It's like I've got a calling to reach out to people and share my story, and to give hope to people that have lost hope. This disease can be conquered. We've got to introduce my partner sometime. I think give up a massive hand for Jared and Quinn for putting that together. Well done, guys.
Cool, thanks. I think we're going to invite Lisa Stradum to come up from CANSA, and she's going to say a few words, and then we'll have a short interval while you guys consider your questions for the Q&A.
Let me just give a bit of a backstory to this. So obviously, you know, I got this transplant, and then I started researching cancer, and CANSA has a program called CANSA Active, which Lisa will tell you about. And I tried for, I think, 2 years, 1 year to get on, and then I got a call right just before Gothenburg from CANSA Active to say they had a gap for us on a team. And yeah, the rest is history. That's who you saw we'll be riding with. Lisa, thank you so much for coming out, and Lisa will have a few words. Thank you.
Sure, no problem. Thank you so much for giving us a little slot, Con. I know we are not the main focus here, you are, but we wouldn't be here without people like you to raise funds to do the work that we do. So CANSA Active is one of our national projects It's a really fun project. So it is a fundraiser, but it also promotes healthy lifestyles, exercise specifically, which is one of the best things you can do to reduce your risk of developing cancer in the first place. And of course, while staying safe in the sun. So Con, you are going to wear your sunscreen the whole time while you're cycling, right?
Of course, definitely.
Okay, good. And reapply along the way, you know?
Well, you guys are going to be there.
We'll be there,
Yeah,
yes.
to supply.
No, we will be there. Yes.
We wanted every 10K.
We're just checking that you are aware you need to do that.
Not only sunscreen, we'll need other things as
that
well.
too.
Okay.
We don't want the riders dehydrating along the way or anything else. So basically, CANSA Active allows people to participate in their favorite sporting events, whether it's cycling, running, swimming, duathlons, triathlons, whatever. Some of them have where we are the official charity, like the Epic, and you literally buy a charity entry for the charity of your choice, or for cancer if we happen to be the only charity. But other people do CANSA Active events just sometimes in, you know, local fun runs happening in their community, or even if it's not an official event where cancer is the charity, they just participate, they create a little online fundraiser, and they raise funds for that. So I did that as a cancer staff member. I did the Maritzburg Marathon and just created a little online fundraiser because it was my first marathon. So it's fun, it gets you in shape, and it raises funds for a good cause. So what is this good cause? What does the Cancer Association do? Well, telling you that in less than 5 minutes is a challenge about as big as riding the Cape Epic, because there's so many things that we do at CANSA. My colleague Michelle over here and I were discussing this on the way up, and we realized I have two options. Either I can speak really, really fast so that you don't hear anything that I say, or I can just throw out keywords and hope you kind of get the general sense of it. So here we go. We do research, as Con said, on a whole different range of topics, from what causes cancer to how to treat cancer and everything in between. We have an advocacy program where we assist patients, particularly state patients, whose rights to treatment have been interfered with in any way. So they're not getting appointments on time, or they're not getting the pain medication they need, or the treatment they need, or the scanners are broken so they can't get their scans, or whatever the issue is. We have an advocacy team that intervenes and assists, whether it's just for one patient or whether it affects a whole province of patients. We help with that. We then do a lot of awareness work, education on what causes cancer specifically, and how you can actually significantly reduce your cancer risk by changing your lifestyle and making healthy choices. So it's not rocket science, but we need to keep on saying it because people are not very good at doing what's good for them. Then we also have an early detection program. So we do a whole range of different screenings for the most common types of cancers in men and women. We then have a psychosocial support program where we have counseling and support groups in various forms. These days, the most popular seems to be virtual everything. So virtual support groups, that goes from Facebook to Zoom to WhatsApp. We've got our telecounseling session program, which is actually now becoming a virtual counseling program where you can have a virtual session with one of our social workers. Doesn't matter where you are in the country, and we do it in 7 different languages, yes. No, 9 different languages, sorry, 9 different languages now. We also have a children's program where we are specifically, we focus on children as well, but our specific focus area is the teenagers and young adults, because they're kind of on a neglected group. There's a lot of focus on children's cancer and there's a lot of focus on adults' cancer, but teenagers and young adults have a lot of their own issues to deal with besides having a cancer diagnosis thrown in there as well. So we're really focusing on developing tools and resources and facilities that meet their needs and advocating for policies that really talk to what they need at that stage in their lives. And then lastly, we have our care home project, which basically a care home, let's say in the Maritzburg context, because we are just about to start a new care home in Maritzburg. If you live in Newcastle and you're diagnosed with cancer and you have to come to Maritzburg for your treatment, and you have to have 6 weeks of radiation and the radiation treatment happens every single day. You can no ways commute every day between Newcastle and Maritzburg. Even if you had the money, it would be too exhausting. So a care home is a place where out-of-town patients can come and stay with us for the duration of their treatment. We give them 3 meals a day. We transport them to and from their treatment center. We service both the private and the public treatment centers. And then we provide emotional support and activities and all sorts of other things for the patients and just try and make it a home away from home. So we've been running care homes for, I think, close on 50 years now around the country. We have 7 in the main metropolitan areas. We have a big one in Durban that is just about to celebrate its 45th birthday. And now we have just, after 10 years of planning, we have just bought a property in Hayfields in Pietermaritzburg, which we are going to convert into a care home for Maritzburg to service basically from Maritzburg to the west of the province. Thank you. We are extremely excited about this project. It's a lot of work that's got into getting this up and running, so that we've got a house. It needs quite a lot of renovation. We've just heard that we've been given 800,000 Rand from a foundation to do renovations, which will be starting in January. So watch this space. We'd love you to come and visit, even before the renovations are done, but afterwards as well. And my colleague over here, please wave, Michelle. This is Michelle. She's been with CANSA for 6 years in 2 of our other care homes, and she's now been appointed to take over and run our Maritzburg care home. So she is the face of the mother who's going to be caring for all the patients here in Maritzburg. So thank you, Con and Jared, for your efforts in raising funds towards our cause, and we can really guarantee that it will be well used.
Well, thank you.
Hi, everybody. Hope you got some more drinks. So this is the Q&A part of the evening. I've got a couple of questions I've prepared for Con, but if you guys have, we'll open up the floor for you shortly to ask any questions to the both of us. But Con, I think just to start with, we heard a little bit about your cancer journey in the video. Can you just tell us a little bit more about your second chance at life, how it's been since recovering from multiple myeloma, or I mean at least being treated, yeah?
Yeah, you know, they talk about the second chance at life, and it only really hit me in the hospital. So my stem cell transplant was over 3 days. Well, it's 6 months of a chemo and steroid concoction that they take you on, 3 weeks on, 1 week off, 3 weeks on, 1 week off. I was incredibly fortunate through that, in that the horrific side effects and that the groups I follow that most people suffer, I kind of didn't suffer them that bad. Not that I didn't suffer any, but I think the big secret was that early detection. I think you must just listen to that video. That does not present any symptoms, this disease. And I thought it was a blood test was a one-size-fits-all. And if I can just send a very powerful message out to everybody in this, none of you is exempt from cancer, and specifically multiple myeloma, which presents no symptoms until it's in its advanced stages and it's too late. Literally, people find out when they bend over and get something, and they snap all their ribs, and they go for X-ray and they analyze multiple myeloma, all their rib cages fraught, whichever area this disease targets. I had just been, for a month before my diagnosis, to the urologist for my annual prostate checkup. Calls me, Khan, you're all good, wada. No fault of his. A month later, this came about where I was sent for blood tests, and the hematologist picked up protein blood ratio, and where they diagnosed the smoldering myeloma. And, you know, that's where I realized that a blood test is not a one-size-fits-all. I just used to think they'll take your blood, throw it in the machine, and it'll red flag anything that's wrong with you. Not so. You've got to ask, and specifically ask for myeloma screening. It's extensive tests that they do, and they can pick up, like with me, by absolute miracle, they picked it up early. I then was blessed to maintain a healthy lifestyle, got inspired by my wife, who leads a very healthy lifestyle, to get onto that healthy lifestyle. And so I had a relatively smooth run into this thing. It kind of felt kind of surreal. Here I was signing off for a stem cell transplant, but I actually felt, other than the symptoms from the drugs I was on, I actually felt fine. And it's quite weird when you get that transplant. So with myeloma, it's an autologous stem cell transplant, means they use your own stem cells, whereas with something like leukemia, you need a donor. So that, I don't know what the medical name for it is, but you need an external donor. So you've got to find a donor, then they are the donor, you are the recipient. And with multiple myeloma, you use your own cells. So in the hospital, it's another weird thing. You get signed off by one doctor as the donor, and then you get signed off by another doctor as the recipient. But it's one and the same. It was quite weird. And then you go off with my stem cell transplant. Was the 3 days. It was Monday is the harvesting of the healthy cells. So they connect you into, the blood bank does it. They connect you into this big machine, looks a little bit like a washing machine, and this thing, they put two big pipes in your main artery, either here in your neck or here in your groin. Luckily, they did it in my groin, and this thing sucks blood round through this machine all day, like a creepy crawly in a swimming pool. It just goes, and then you see it go through the machine, and the blood swishes, and you see these healthy cells collecting. They're in bags, and so it goes round and round. Bar one incident where this freaking thing came apart, they managed to sort it out and carry on. But about 8 hours you're there, and they take it, and you see those healthy cells. They aim to get enough for 2 stem cell transplants. Heaven forbid you need another transplant. But they have a spare set of my cells in the blood bank right now. Hopefully I'll never need them. But in my case, they managed to get 6, enough for 6 harvests. So the doctor was really healthy, really happy. And again, it's just, I went into this thing well, and I wasn't in advanced stages yet. So I think that was just a blessing. And so then they send those bloods off to the blood bank, and they test it, and they come back, yeah, all good to go, all good to go. Now, the Tuesday morning is what they talk about, administering high-dose chemo. And at this stage, I'd been on chemo for 6 months, but it was only oral chemo, and I had all my hair. And I have 2 older sons that lost their hair at a young age, and they couldn't wait for Dad to lose his hair to be the same. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to survive this. I'm not going to lose my hair. And that Tuesday, so now they've got your healthy cells. Now that high-dose chemo on the Tuesday, that chemo, it's freaking a little bottle, a bag, a little bit bigger than that flask. They administer it. They come early in the morning, they administer it, and you watch it going in there, and that kills all the cells left in your body, everything. But they've got the healthy guys. Now they just nuke and wipe out everything, and they bring you to complete ground zero. That's why you're in isolation, and it's a whole big palaver. And then I think, so much for my hair. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, that night I was in the shower and just like clumps of hair just coming out. And so that was a reality check. Gone was the hair. And then the Wednesday morning, it's kind of surreal because, I don't know, you're a little bit out of it. I suppose the Wednesday morning, in they walk. Wow, happy birthday, because it's now your second chance at life. They're reinfusing. They've now got your system where it's clear. They've got rid of all the rogue cells, and they bring back those healthy cells and reinfuse them into your body. And then those healthy cells start their little swim around, and they start multiplying, and hopefully they're the dominant factor again, and they keep the rogues at bay. But that, second chance life, it really, really is. And I think it's the very reason why I'm here and living my best life, and I'll be on the start line. Never in my wildest dreams that I think 5 years ago when I was diagnosed would I be on the start line of the Cape Epic. So, my message to you is don't go down that road. You don't need a second life. Just take care of yourself, live healthily, but also don't be foolish. Listen to your body and get checked out.
Awesome. And I think, just talk us through a little bit about that mental process, like from a mental side, how did it feel? And what's changed since you've had your treatment?
Well, what's changed? I'm telling you, the biggest change of this whole thing is we're walking along, my wife taps me on the shoulder the other day. So I said, what? She says, you know what, I just want to tell you, you've become a much better person since this whole thing. So that was the flip side. And then what was the rest of the question?
Just mentally, like
Yeah,
how,
yeah,
that,
yeah.
how
No,
the process was.
Good question, yeah. So obviously, you know, the video says you get in like this blind panic, you get onto Dr. Google. There's probably a mistake as well. As you get to know more of the disease, you find out. Also found it quite depressing following the multiple myeloma support groups, because this disease is evil. It really is. And I quickly adopted, you know, I had to, it was like give up or take this thing on. And I adopted the mantra of PDF, and not a document. It's positivity, diet, and faith. And I clung on to those things, and that really got me through. And where I got the positivity from is, just shortly after I was diagnosed, I got a call from, message from Bridget Hartley, the Olympian paddler that's also been a True Story Tuesday speaker, and she sent me a link to Oscar Chalupsky. Now, I know, I've always known Oscar Chalupsky. Anybody familiar with that name? He's a 12-time world surf ski champion. And this was, 2020 I was diagnosed. He had been diagnosed in 2019. Had quite a bit of media publicity around it, but I'd never really known that. And I got onto his links and started following him. And he was diagnosed in 2019 at stage 4. Now that was in his early 50s, and he was still competing on a world-class level then. And he was hardcore, and he had been paddling through this pain, and he was paddling in a paddling race in Australia. And eventually this pain in his back just got beyond control, and it forced him out. He's never quit a race. And he was living in Portugal at the time, and flown over there and diagnosed stage 4 cancer and given 6 months to live. So I started following him, and he was anything but down in the dumps. He was the most positive person you've ever come across, and I urge you all to follow him. He's got a book called No Retreat, No Surrender. Just remember that name, No Retreat, No Surrender. It's a really, really good read, and I read that shortly after I was diagnosed. And the good news is that Oscar is still with us 6 years later, and he sent me a message today, which I can get quite emotional about, but you'll see it. And he's been such an inspiration, because every day I'm feeling sorry for myself. I just tap into him, and what this man has been through is unbelievable, but he just fires out with positivity every time. So that's been a massive inspiration for me.
Awesome. So overcoming multiple myeloma and riding Cape Epic, what is it about doing hard things that appeals to you?
Cape Epic's always been on my bucket list, but kind of always been out of my reach. So if I had to get my wife to tell me I'm a better person, I had to get the opportunity to ride Cape Epic through CANSA. Well, it's been a worthwhile journey. I will take it. But taking on hard things, I don't know. Maybe my wife can answer that. But I'm always surfing and looking for the next big thing, and setting myself challenges and goals and so on. And sometimes a little bit too extreme, the stuff, but most times I seem to get through and get by. And I'll just add, a lot of people have said you obviously your time is not up yet, because in that Easter Monday of 2023, I was involved in so that was just before my transplant. I was involved in an horrendous, 32 car and 12 truck pileup on the N3 here at Hilton, where I was in the middle of that, and it was just carnage. People were dying, people were just all over the place. It was like a battlefield, and I walked out of there 100% alive with my car with a tiny little ding in the back. That's it. And there was a couple of videos there that I videoed one, people videoed, and I was on the side of the road. My phone was going mad. Are you still okay? And this and that. But that was something I walked away from very luckily. So, yeah, obviously these things are happening, and what can I do but try and do these things to inspire people never to give up?
Cool. We're going to play out this video from Oscar Chalupsky.
Yeah,
I think it's
I've
really
given you the backstory. It's really, it was heartening and an honor to get this from Oscar this morning.
Hi, this is Oscar Chalupsky. A lot of you people in Howick probably know me from paneling powers, but not for my cancer suffering. Con spoke to me a few years ago and he said, oh, my markers are this and that. I said, don't worry, mine are off the charts. And today, Truthful Tuesday, truth be told, Con's done a magnificent job and he's going to keep on continuing with his partner Jared to do the Cape Epic, which is a serious race. And my thoughts and wishes, best wishes to both of them, because it's a team effort and it takes a lot of support. And what they're trying to do is raise money for CANSA, which is fantastic news. I mean, I didn't get such very good news, so this is probably one of the final times you'll hear my voice, because I'm on my final run, you know, that final run of 8 to 10 months on my last treatment. I'll keep fighting as hard as I can, but Con will take over the baton and see if he can do the Cape Epic while I keep fighting to stay alive and to help other people. So what I want to be doing from now on is just trying to make other people overcome the adversity and don't have so much pain and suffering. Good luck to all you guys there in Howick, and I wish I was there. Saying a few words about Con. Well done, guys, and keep up the good work, and I hope you get to your 250,000 Rand figure. That'll be fantastic effort, and good luck for the race.
Give him a big hand. This man has been a major inspiration for me, and he's done so much work, and he has raised millions for cancer in his endeavors.
Okay. I think lastly from me, and Oscar alluded to it, but what do you hope to achieve by riding the Cape Epic?
Just to raise a whole lot of money. And yeah, just to give people hope, ride it in Oscar's honor. You know, as he said, sure, he's had his last rights read to him about 2 or 3 times in the last 2 years, but he somehow seems to bounce back every time. But even I just saw a Facebook post of his that he's at the end of the road with the treatment, and the only other thing available to him is CAR T therapy. And even if he had the 8 million Rand to take that treatment, it's too far gone for him. So yeah, we'll be riding in his honor, and just to, again, raise, as what I've alluded to, it's just raising awareness. And then, Jared, not to take away from your story, I mean, you're a warrior yourself, and just having ridden Go to Berg with you, how much you maybe just, you're very humble, but maybe just give us 2 minutes of what it's like being a stage 1, a type 1 diabetic, and what your sort of daily routine is.
Cool. I think doing something like Cape Epic, you do need to have like a higher sort of purpose for why you're doing it. And I think knowing that we're riding for Oscar, knowing that we're riding for CANSA, and then also knowing that we're overcoming our own personal sort of health challenges, I think is going to get us through. I've been a type 1 diabetic since I was about 6 years old. And it involves testing your blood sugar daily, multiple times, counting every carbohydrate you consume, and then obviously dosing the right amount of insulin for that, because my body doesn't produce any insulin. So it's been about 30 years of living with type 1 and no days off. It's a full-time job. you're kind of doing the job of your pancreas. So, yeah, it's tiring, but I think it's also taught me how to get through hard things. It's taught me how to be consistent, and it's taught me how to face up to big challenges. And I think that's what's going to help us get through the Epic.
Yeah, I'll tell you a bit of a back. So I knew nothing about type 1 diabetes. As I said, we rode Gothenburg. We stayed in separate tents, fortunately, but the one night we stayed in guest houses in Clarence. And I don't sleep too well in these things, especially when I'm not trying to build this new hobby of mine of filming, and I'm stressing what I'm going to film and how I'm going to film and how it's going to be done and so on, and thinking about the theme for the next day, which most days we didn't even have. We thought it up on the morning, and I'm lying there trying to sleep, and something goes, doo-doo, doo-doo, and I'm like, holy shit, what have I left on? I'm going to wake Jared up. I'm like, no, man. And then I'm just dozing off, and I don't know, half an hour later, and I'm like, shit, what is going on here? What? And like everything, my watch was, I'm paranoid. I set like 2 alarms on my watch and 2 alarms on my cell phone, and I'm thinking, well, maybe one of these is activating and so on, and then, and then 4th time, he leaps out of bed, like this, and he has this, shit, my sugar alarm, my sugar alarm. I said, well, you could have just told me. I would have woken you up on the first time. Oh, yeah. It's like he's stocking up on his sugar. But yeah, it's full-time maintenance, and yeah, well done.
Shot. Cool, guys. We'd love to hear any questions from the audience. Yeah. Any hands?
It's got to be somebody break the on. Justin.
Con, thanks so much for sharing your story. We see such a need for people to be vulnerable and to share the journey they've come through. But on a lighter side, the biggest action sport I've ever done is paddle. So can you just explain to some of us, what does the Cape Epic entail? Because I think you're a hero, you've done so many things like this, it's like normal for you. But you ask a couple of O's here, they don't actually know what it looks like. Could you just tell us, what does the Cape Epic, is it like 5 days or?
Okay, so the Cape Epic, and yes, I have done a lot of challenges, but this one is going to trump them all. It's really tough. It's not known as the world's toughest mountain bike stage race for nothing. And I could think of nobody better. He's probably going to scare me, and Jared and I are going to ask Lisa there to find somebody else to ride for CANSA after this, because I know him, but he's been through it all, I think a matter of 3 times, or possibly 4, he'll fill us in. But I want to call on Frederick, my eldest adopted son, to tell us about what we're in for at the Epic. Give it up for Freddie.
Okay, Con, so what do you want to know?
I'll just give an overview for the person out there that doesn't realize. Don't scare me too much, please.
Okay.
Make some of it nice.
So Epic is obviously a lot of cyclists, non-cyclists, so throw it out there. It's 7 days, sometimes 8, depending on how brutal they want to be. The distance used to be about, what was it? 840 k's around there. It wasn't too bad.
So they've made it shorter.
Yeah, they've made it shorter, but they made it harder. So what they did now is, just to make it even worse, is they decided to drop the distance and make it up. So you do 15, I checked just now, 15,900 meters ascent over the 8 days. And just listening to some of the things, I think if you can, absolutely none. Absolutely none. You're going to find out that you've got triceps, biceps, every part of your body is going to hurt like hell by the end of it. It's not easy. But that's why you're doing it. It's a challenge. That's why we're here to support you. Funny enough, you thought you lost weight doing CANSA, you'll lose weight doing this.
Thanks, Fred. And
I'm not the fattest guy, as you can sort of see. I left there about 6 kgs lighter than when I started.
that must have been skin and bone.
Yeah, no, it's hard.
And Fred, about it, how many teams, what is the experience at the event? I hear that it's like on a level like none other, the international participation, the whole vibe, the seriousness of it. Yeah, what's it like out there?
I think when you're participating in the Epic, it is known as the premier mountain bike stage race in the world. Globally, it is that renowned. So the people who participated and do it are well aware of the sacrifice that are required. So they come there they are there for a reason, to compete in the Epic. You can't go there half-baked, unfortunately. You won't survive.
If you've got a broken wrist,
suck it up.
thanks, Fred.
No, it really is. The guys know how to compete. I've competed. We rode with World Tour champions throughout the race. That's the level, and they're riding mid-pack. It is a really strong field. They know what they're doing, but it's seriously tough. You can go the Cape. Everyone knows the Cape. It's howling. You can go from a wonderful day where it's gloriously sunny and wonderful to a blistering gale to pouring rain, all 4 seasons in one day while you're out there. So it's tough.
Describe that feeling when you finally roll over the finish line.
Yeah, they say, they used to have, the last day was your celebratory day. So my very first Epic, they said, okay, cool, no, that's fine. It's not going to be a hard day, 60 Ks, relatively easy, maybe 800 meters of climbing, which was average, nice riding. Now they've made it, no, your last day you work for it. So you're going to be at 90 Ks with probably around 1,800 meters of climbing. So any feeling that you have or you wanted to have, I think is so much more emphasized by the end, because you're just grateful. You're grateful that it's over. You don't want to see your bike again. It's the last thing. Your body hurts, your back hurts, everything hurts. It's fun.
And what advice? You've ridden with how many different partners?
So I've ridden with 2 different partners. One really good friend of mine, Warren Price. We did 2 Epics together. Lovely, and he's a real gentleman. Another local, I'm sure everyone must know Martin Hall from Hall's Adhesives. He's a world-class guy, but funny enough, our first training ride, we landed up fighting on the side of the road. Literally trying to headbutt each other, just because that's what guys do. But you need someone who you can count on, someone who is cool under pressure, someone who can handle the swings, because inevitably things happen, and it's being able to handle those things together is what separates you from a normal team versus a great team. Because if you know how Jared is feeling on that day, you will ride with him and you'll ride him through and get him through the day. I've seen people who will swear, shout, curse, or just ride off and say, cheers, I'll see you at the finish, and I hope like mad we don't get shunted to the back. It really is that teamness is probably your most vital part of your race that you can't negate.
Oh, thanks, Fred. Thanks for that. Jared must be feeling much better now, because I'm all of those things that you've described. I have all those qualities.
I've known Con for 23 years, as I've said. You're going to be in for a world of hurt in your ears. Because he doesn't shut up. One other final bit of advice, eat. Eat. You can't understand how much you actually consume in an Epic. Rest, recover, and eat again. If you've gone to bed and you haven't eaten at least 2 suppers, you're not doing well. That's the reality. You burn so much, you need to eat, and you're not going to have a lot of time to recover, so eat.
Thank you. We will. And we'll be putting out not daily videos. I promise we will urge you all to follow us, please. Just by following us and liking and sharing our medias and our content is going to be a huge inspiration for us, believe me. Thanks, Fred. Right, who's got the next question? It's got to be one. Lorna, I know you're dying to ask a question. You haven't got no questions. It's all been answered. Take the mic.
Con, I have no questions, but I have no questions, but I have one thing to say. You have absolutely no idea how much we respect and admire what you guys are doing. You absolutely blow us away. So God bless you every single step of the way. Love you lots.
Thank you so much. Well, I was quite good about my emotions the whole night, but ish. Thank you so much, Lorna. Really appreciate it. Right. Oh, there's another question. Yep. Jared's off.
Con, how is your daily routine going to change now that you have a new challenge ahead of you versus your normal day? What's involved in training for the
Cool.
Cape Epic?
Duncan, it's going to change dramatically now because of this latest little thing, but subject to a MRI on Thursday morning, I could be off my bicycle for 8 weeks, and I cannot afford that. So that means, calm as a bitch. I'm going to be on an indoor bike, and I hate indoor bikes with a passion. But, and especially training in the South African heat, I'm going to be sitting there on my indoor bike, but at least the positive is that it is an option, and it's very advanced, the whole indoor training thing, and you've got computer programs, and I do have a big screen TV I can plug into, and so on. So it's not going to be too bad. It's just one of those challenges you've got to take on. And, I'm not going to go into this thing underbaked, like Fred has warned. And, it's just going to be hours and hours. But fortunately, I've got a massive support team. I've got wonderful staff, as you can see around here, and a team and a wonderful family, an exceptionally patient and caring wife. And, that egg me on. And then a massive support base from people like yourselves. So that'll help me cope. And it's just going to be a lot of time we've got to put in. I'm just, focused on doing that. So that's just that goal, to get to the finish line and to most of all raise a whole lot of money for CANSA, because as you can see, the type of work they do is phenomenal.
Any last questions?
Can we shut down the PA, please?
No, sorry, my voice is loud enough, it won't help. So Jared, you've ridden with Con over two races now. Knowing that you're going into an 8-day event, what is your biggest hurdle in terms of managing Con? What do you think that's going to be?
Which one to choose?
He hasn't seen me at my best day.
No, to be honest, both of our rides have been pretty smooth. I think I can't think of too many hurdles. I think just getting you to the start line, I think, is going to be the biggest one. There are quite a few chats that happen along the way.
Jared, we'll just make a time. If we have to be at the start at 7:25, I don't want to see you at all till 7:25. I'll meet you on the start line. I don't need you watching me and hushing me on. I'll come roaring in there at the last minute .con, because that's what I'm known for, but I will be there.
And then I think we will be fortunate because Con's not on his e-bike for the Epic, so we won't be able to race with the front guys, and I think that's what he loves doing.
Yeah, unfortunately not going to be on the e-bike. That's the saddest thing of this whole thing, but it just adds to the challenge.
Cool.
Anymore.
I think if there are no further questions, we'll move on to...
Yeah, feel free to chat to us afterwards. Please follow our journey. As I said, like, share. Just by doing that, just by being here, you've made a massive influence and a difference and given us masses of encouragement on our campaign as we start this journey. And then I just want to introduce a gentleman that's been a loyal Ceffeeberry customer for all our years. I think next to Rose, the old lady that drinks her daily cup of coffee and reads The Witness every morning at Ceffeeberry, and has done for the last 20 years. This gentleman has been a loyal supporter, and when he heard of this, he immediately said, "We'll back you." He's none other than the man that's reinvented the Witness, that's brought the gees and the interest and the love of printed media back, as well as creating a huge online presence. He's got an amazing team, and he is backing us all the way. They have got the word out there for us already. They have pledged to back us right through this event, right through our journey, including the event and afterwards. So I'd like to welcome from the Witness boss and Capital Media boss himself, Ricardo Jacobs, to just address us. Give him a big hand. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, Con, I just want to say from the Witness, we're incredibly proud to be standing here alongside you and backing you. And I think you make all of Maritzburg, the entire region, incredibly proud. And I must say, your staff are truly inspired by you. You know, I mean, you spoke about Rose. You know, I'm one of the regulars. There are many, many regulars. But I think it's Con's a very affable person. But more than anything else, he's a very humble person. And if I think back as to where you started the journey, you and your family, in terms of Ceffeeberry and ABSA and Cascades, and then you had a vision for this concept, and your grit and determination then showed us what you've actually done with Ceffeeberry as a brand. So, you know, it's in your DNA, right? To be a fighter and to build things, and you know, the challenges that you faced, absolutely incredible. And I was like, you know, when you shared it with me, just like everyone else here, you know, you choke up because it's just so inspiring. And then I just want to say, you know, raising funds for CANSA. You know, you are one of many warriors in our society and community that supports NGOs and the incredible work that they're doing. Without our NGO sector, I mean, one can only imagine how difficult life will be for so many people out there. So, you know, we know that social welfare funding is diminishing, but it's people like you that take, you know, adversity and turn it into something paid forward that makes it incredible. And that's why we are so proud to actually get behind you and to make sure that we do our utmost to get to your goal, if not exceed it, and raise the 250,000 rands that you've set. It's an incredible amount of money, but people in this region love you, support you, believe in what you're doing. I just want to say from the Witness, 2026 marks the newspaper's 180th year, continuous year of publishing this newspaper. And it's also been a journey of remarkable resilience to think that this region still has a daily newspaper at a time where globally newspapers are closing and society is getting a poorer for it. And we could only truly do it because we have support. But journalism needs more than, it needs people to believe in it and to also back the incredible team that we have that brings out the Witness. I know it's much thinner than it used to be back in the day, but it's remarkable that it's still here and it still plays a role. We've transitioned from being primarily print. We now have a huge online audience, you know, and we're sure that, Con, you're going to bring, you know, a lot of viewers and likes to our pages, and we're going to tell your story. So I just want to thank the Witness team for everything that we've done in terms of this partnership for our 180th. This is going to be our key kind of campaign to support the fundraising that you do. And then I have a question for you, Con. This is something I've wondered about. If it's 7 days or 8 days, even if it's 3 days, right? You've done a lot of physical preparation, obviously mental preparation, but on the journey itself, do you have a mental plan as to how you're going to approach all those hours in the saddle? Do you as you plan your route and journey, do you plan about the things that you intend to think about or reflect on? What is it in your mind that gets you through it?
Ricardo, I've tasked Jared with that job because his wife Sarah is doing psychology. So he's got to tap into Sarah to find out how he's got to motivate me and keep our minds right. So the mind department and the media department is Jared's department. So he's going to get us through all that.
Thank you very much.
Ricardo Jacobs, thank you very much for your support, and to the entire Witness team here tonight. Look at them, 8 of them come out to support this campaign. It's been unbelievable. Thank you so much. And then, yeah, I think, I just want to say again a massive thanks to my support team, my wonderful family, my friends, our staff here that have done an amazing job. Basically, I've stepped off the coalface for 5 years after my diagnosis, just to give myself the best chance at recovery, and they've kind of taken over. I'm sometimes quite frustrated because they're telling me I need to be here, but it's allowed me just that freedom to get my head right, that space to be, get through that transplant. And the flip side of the transplant is, another flip side of this thing is that I get to compete in the World Transplant Games, which happens every 2 years. That's just been in Dresden in Germany, and they only recently changed that rule. We were excluded from transplant games previously as autologous stem cell transplant. The leukemia guys that had an external donor qualified, and then they argued the case, and the vote went for us, and we are now eligible to compete. So that's my next big thing, is competing for South Africa in the World Transplant Games in Belgium in 2027. So that's another flip side of getting cancer and multiple myeloma. So we really look forward to that. And then I just want to say that tonight, if anything of this presentation has touched you or you'd like to re-listen to, Sean has been recording it very kindly from Sound Dynamics, and you can just ask him. I don't know how these kids transfer or whatever they do, but they'll be able to get it to you that you can flip through at your leisure and pick up what you thought you might have missed out on. Certainly the video is going to be out there, and I just want to say again a massive thank you for coming out. Thank you to my team. Thank you to my partner here for putting me on the map literally with this new hobby of mine, and doing so much. And I really look forward to writing the epic with you, Jared.
Looking forward to it as well. I think just before we all say goodbye, we will have a QR code up on the screens if you would like to donate. And then it will also take you to a link. It's on Give and Gain, where you'll be able to share that link with people you know if you would like to donate. And then the other way that you can help us in a big way is you can look up Con Malherbe, the content creator, on YouTube. And the video that we showed tonight will be up on Con's YouTube channel, and you can share that far and wide. That's got the QR code in it as well. And it's obviously got Con's incredible story in it. So
yeah, thank you again. And that YouTube channel is thanks to Jared for creating it. And that logo, have you got the logo there that's easily accessible? But that logo is compliments of my daughter-in-law that did it for me. So it's a whole family effort. And I think, can we get the camera back on us? And can we get just a picture of Jared and I officially shaking hands, and hopefully we're going to be doing another True Story Tuesday with a very happy one and a check for 250,000 Rand for CANSA after the Cape Epic. Can we get a pic of this, Justin, please? Thanks so much, everybody, and have a really super evening. Thanks again for coming out. We'll chat in April. Thank you.
It was amazing, Con. Well done. Incredible.
We often engage with, many of us know him quite personally. But still, your journey, Con, is, and your journey that's still to come is very inspirational. So good luck with the plans that you have ahead. And not only will you have the thousands of people lining the routes in Cape Town, but you have this entire room with you when you're on your journey. So good luck.
And good to you with the last off.
Yeah. And I think it was Ricardo. Where's he gone? He's run away now. Ricardo was saying, ngicela ukubonga futhi abasebenzi bala Ceffeeberry. Asikho isikhathi uzofika lana ungamukeleki abantu bekubambe ngathi ufudumele nje. I think I had the best waitress. I've also ngicela ukubonga kakhulu. The competition's on kodwa yaqhubeka nomsebenzi niwenzayo. Siyabonga kakhulu. Thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Chris Papas. Give you another big round of applause. This young man is doing amazing work in this municipality of ours. Thank you, sir.